I saw the posts at 6:47 a.m. London time from my office in Canary Wharf. My assistant had flagged them during her morning social media sweep. The penthouse wasn't abandoned. I'd been living in London for 8 months on a work assignment. The penthouse was my home, paid in full, titled in my name alone, worth approximately $2.1 million according to recent appraisals. And my brother was attempting to sell it out from under me. I picked up my phone and called the one number that would end this immediately. Laurent Dubois, Geneva Private Banking. Laurent, it's Cassandra Mitchell. I need an emergency wire transfer and a legal intervention. My brother is attempting to fraudulently sell my Seattle property. How much do you need? Enough to make it clear the property isn't for sale. Wire $3.2 million to the title company with documentation showing full ownership verification. Then contact every real estate attorney in Seattle and put them on notice that any sale attempt is unauthorized and fraudulent. Consider it done. One moment. I heard typing. The wire will clear within 2 hours. I'm also alerting our U.S. legal team to file emergency injunctions. Cassandra, do you want me to contact local authorities? Not yet. First, I want to see how far he'll take this. Understood. I'll send confirmation when the wire completes. I hung up and returned to the Facebook posts. James had already received 43 comments, 12 direct messages and 1 offer. $750,000 cash, close in 3 days. He'd responded, deal. My parents are handling paperwork. They're both at the property now if you want to view. My parents. Of course they were involved. The backstory was simple. I'd always been the family disappointment. While James bounced between failed business ventures, tech startup, crypto trading, NFT gallery, sports betting app, I'd quietly built a career in international finance. Started as an analyst, worked my way to director level, got recruited by a Swiss investment firm for their London expansion. My salary was $340,000 plus bonuses. I'd purchased the Seattle penthouse at 28 with cash from stock options and careful investing. James, at 34, lived in our parents' basement and drove a leased BMW he couldn't afford. But he was charming. Charismatic. The golden child who'd find his breakthrough any day now. I was boring. Predictable. Cassandra the accountant. Dad called me despite my actual title being Director of Equity Research. When I'd accepted the London position, Mom had said, well, at least you'll stop wasting that beautiful penthouse by never entertaining. Maybe someone fun will buy it. I'd stared at her. I'm not selling. You're moving to Europe. For 18 months. It's a work assignment, not permanent. Empty penthouses are wasteful, Cassandra. You should let James stay there. He needs a proper address for his business meetings. James needs to get a job. That's cruel. I'd left for London without giving James keys. Apparently that hadn't stopped him. At 8:15 a.m. London time, 12:15 a.m. Seattle time, I received Laurent's confirmation. Wire completed. $3.2 million transferred to Seattle Metro Title Company. Account flagged with your ownership documentation. Legal team filing emergency injunctions with King County Superior Court. Property now locked against any sale attempt. They'll need your explicit written authorization to proceed, which they won't get. I smiled and opened my laptop. Time to watch this unfold. James's phone started ringing at 12:47 a.m. Seattle time. I know because he posted about it. Title company calling me at 1 a.m. saying the property isn't for sale? Anyone know a good real estate lawyer? This is urgent. The comments rolled in. Bro, do you actually own this property? This sounds sketchy. Who sells a penthouse at 1 a.m.? Title companies don't call at night unless something's seriously wrong. James responded, it's my sister's property but she abandoned it. She's in Europe and doesn't care. My parents have power of attorney. Except they didn't. I'd never given my parents power of attorney. I'd explicitly refused when Mom suggested it, just in case something happens while you're abroad. James was lying. The question was whether he knew he was lying or whether our parents had lied to him. At 2 a.m. Seattle time my phone rang. I answered. Hello, Father. Cassandra, there's been a massive mistake. Some bank wired $3.2 million to the title company claiming you're buying your own penthouse. Obviously that's fraudulent. We need you to call them and straighten this out so we can proceed with the sale. What sale? The penthouse sale. James found a buyer. $750,000 cash. We were going to surprise you with the proceeds. Dad, I never authorized a sale. The penthouse isn't for sale. You're in London. You don't need a Seattle property. I'm in London temporarily. I'll be back in 10 months. The penthouse is my home. James needs this, Cassandra. The buyer is serious. We already told him we'd close by Friday. If you block this, you're sabotaging your brother's opportunity to finally what? Commit real estate fraud. Silence. It's not fraud, Dad said carefully. We're family. We're helping each other. You have plenty of money. James needs a win. So you decided to sell my property without my permission and keep the proceeds? We were going to give you a portion. A portion of the money from selling MY Penthouse that I bought with MY money and is titled in MY name? You're being selfish. I'm being defrauded. By my family. There's a difference. If you don't authorize this sale, your mother and I are done with you. James is done with you. You'll have your precious penthouse and no family. Is that what you want? I thought about that. Really considered it. A family that would steal from me versus a penthouse I loved. Yes, I said. That's exactly what I want. I hung up. The Facebook posts continued. James, 3:14 a.m. Property sale blocked by greedy sister. Anyone know how to contest ownership when someone abandons property? Mom, 3:28 a.m. in the comments. Cassandra has always put money before family. We tried to help her see reason. Praying she finds compassion. The buyer, 3:45 a.m. I'm out. This is clearly a legal mess. Good luck, man. James, 4:02 a.m. Cassandra ruined everything. By 5 a.m. Seattle time, the post had been shared 200+ times, mostly in real estate groups warning others about fraudulent listings by James Mitchell. His reputation was destroyed in real time. At 9 a.m. Seattle time, I received a call from Detective Sarah Okonkwo, King County Sheriff's Office. Ms. Mitchell, I'm investigating a potential real estate fraud case. Your name has come up. Do you have a few minutes? Of course. Did you authorize your brother, James Mitchell, to list your penthouse property for sale? Absolutely not. Did you authorize your parents, Robert and Linda Mitchell, to act on your behalf regarding this property? No. I've never given anyone power of attorney or sale authorization. Your brother claims he has documentation showing property abandonment and family transfer of ownership. Do you know anything about that? No, because it doesn't exist. I own the property free and clear. I'm on a temporary work assignment in London. The property isn't abandoned. I have mail forwarding, utility payments on autopay, and a cleaning service that visits bi-weekly. I'll be returning in 10 months. Do you want to press charges? I hesitated. Ms. Mitchell, your brother attempted to sell property he doesn't own for $750,000. He created fraudulent listings. He misrepresented ownership status to potential buyers. That's criminal fraud. If he'd succeeded, this would be grand theft. We're talking felony charges. What happens if I press charges? We investigate fully. If evidence supports it, and it sounds like it does, we'd recommend prosecution. Your brother could face 5 to 10 years for fraud and attempted grand theft. And my parents? If they were complicit, they'd face conspiracy charges. I looked out my office window at the London skyline. Canary Wharf's towers gleaming in the morning sun. I'd worked so hard to get here. Built a life on competence and integrity. My family had tried to steal it because James needed a win. Yes, I said. I want to press charges. The investigation moved fast. Police searched my parents' home and found documents James had created. Forged power of attorney paperwork, fake property abandonment declarations, even a counterfeit deed transfer showing ownership moving from me to the Mitchell Family Trust, an entity that didn't exist. James had planned this for months. Text messages showed the conspiracy. Mom to James, April 15th. Cassandra won't know until it's done. Just find a buyer and close fast. Dad to James, April 22nd. We'll split it 3 ways. You get $250,000 to start your new business. That's fair. James to Dad, May 3rd. What if she finds out before closing? Dad to James, May 3rd. She won't. She's in London and doesn't check Seattle real estate. By the time she notices, the sale will be final. They'd planned to steal my home, sell it, split the proceeds, and present me with a fait accompli. The only reason they failed was because I had a social media monitoring service and a Swiss private banker on speed dial. The charges came down in July. James Mitchell. Wire fraud, attempted grand theft, forgery, criminal conspiracy. $100,000 bail. Robert Mitchell. Conspiracy to commit fraud, accessory to forgery. $50,000 bail. Linda Mitchell. Conspiracy to commit fraud, accessory to attempted theft. $50,000 bail. All three released on bail, trial set for October. The local news picked it up. Family attempts to sell daughter's $2 million penthouse while she works abroad. The story went viral. I received interview requests from 20 media outlets. I declined all of them. My extended family chose sides predictably. Aunt Carol, how can you prosecute your own parents? They made a mistake. Uncle Jim, James was just trying to help the family financially. You're destroying him over a property you don't even use. Cousin Derek, you have plenty of money. Why are you being so vindictive? I blocked them systematically. The only family member who reached out with support was my grandmother, Louise. Cassandra, I need you to know something. Your father asked me for money 3 times in the past year. Said it was for James's business ventures. I gave him $40,000 total. I just found out there were no business ventures. They gambled it. Your father has a serious gambling problem. So does James. Why didn't you tell me? I was ashamed. I thought I could help them quietly. But this, trying to steal your home, this is beyond help. They need consequences. The trial was brutal. Prosecutors presented the forged documents, the text message conspiracies, the Facebook listings. They showed James's bank records, $70,000 in gambling debts. Dad's credit cards, $130,000 maxed out, mostly casino charges. The business ventures were cover stories for gambling addiction. They planned to sell my penthouse to pay off debts and fund more gambling. Defense attorneys argued it was a family misunderstanding. That my parents believed they had authority to help James. That the forgeries were drafts, never meant to be used. The jury didn't buy it. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing was devastating. James, 4 years in federal prison, $800,000 restitution, the amount he'd attempted to steal, 5 years probation after release. Dad, 2 years in federal prison, $400,000 restitution, lifetime ban from serving as power of attorney. Mom, 18 months in federal prison, $400,000 restitution, same lifetime ban. The judge was harsh. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was a calculated, months-long conspiracy to defraud the defendant's daughter of her primary residence. The forgery alone shows premeditation. The text messages show knowing intent. These defendants targeted their own family member because they believed she was vulnerable abroad and wouldn't discover the fraud in time. This court takes family exploitation seriously. They were let out in handcuffs. James looked at me once. His expression was pure hatred. I returned to London and tried to move on. Work helped. I was promoted to senior director, given a raise to $420,000, offered permanent relocation if I wanted it. I considered it seriously. Seattle felt poison now. The penthouse, once my sanctuary, was the crime scene where my family had tried to rob me. But I'd be damned if I'd let them take it from me. 10 months after the trial, I returned to Seattle. The penthouse was exactly as I'd left it. My cleaning service had maintained it perfectly. The view, Puget Sound, the Olympic Mountains, the city skyline, was still breathtaking. I stood in the living room and felt empty. I'd won. I'd protected my property, prosecuted the fraud, maintained my integrity. But I'd lost my family. Was it worth it? I got my answer 3 weeks later. A letter arrived from James's prison. I almost threw it away. But something made me open it. Cassandra, I've had a lot of time to think. The prison counselor says I need to take accountability. So here it is. I was jealous. You succeeded at everything. Made money, bought property, built a career. I failed at everything and blamed you for making me look bad. When Mom and Dad said we could sell the penthouse to help me, I didn't question it because I wanted your success. I wanted to take something from you because I couldn't build anything myself. The counselor calls it destructive envy. I call it being a piece of shit brother. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I need you to know, you were right to prosecute us. We would have destroyed you financially if you hadn't stopped us. You protected yourself. That took strength I don't have. I'm sorry. James. I read it twice. It wasn't enough to rebuild a relationship. But it was something. An acknowledgement that the cruelty was real. That the choice to prosecute wasn't vindictive. It was survival. 18 months after returning to Seattle, I'm still in the penthouse. I've redecorated. Changed the energy. Made it mine again instead of a crime scene. James gets out in 2 years. Dad in 6 months. Mom in 4 months. I have no plans to see any of them. Grandma Louise visits monthly. She's the only family I need. I've learned something important. Protecting yourself isn't selfish, even when it costs you relationships. My family tried to steal my home because they believed I wouldn't fight back. Because I was far away, because I was just Cassandra. Because they'd spent years teaching me that family obligation meant tolerating anything. They were wrong. I fought back. I won. And I'm keeping the penthouse. Not because it's worth $2.1 million. Because it's mine. And nobody, not even family, gets to take what's mine and call it love.